When Dave Julian first invited me to review this project, we flew the whole line in a day and a half, looking at various hotspots. And for the first time ever looking at a job, I was daunted. It was a very difficult, very tough, extreme terrain project. And in 30 years, this one will be in the top 5 for sure. On this project, on the western segment alone, we had 179 access roads, which we call shoe-flies, many of which are required extensive work, brushing, road building, culverts, and that's just to get us to work. Then we proceed from there with the salvage. Getting the salvage off of this country is a project all in itself.
How much more work have you got to do here?
I wouldn't think we'd have much more than a week or so. No, maybe more than a couple weeks, maybe at the most. And then we'll be done.
How long have you been at it?
Probably 6 weeks, I guess.
That's not bad. Yeah. Making good money?
Just the usual. Not good enough.
So finally we've completed the salvage of merchantable timber and we're finally starting the pipeline. Then we begin removing duff to save the topsoil so that we can bring that back on cleanup at the seed bank. Then the equipment begins grading.
Ed Fraser is my name, from Manitoba. Actually, just outside of Brandon, a little place called Rivers. Hoe operator. I mean, just digging in the dirt, lots and lots of digging in the dirt. We make the ditch here for the pipe to go in the ground, whether it be through roads, rivers, whatever it takes. It is fun. It is fun. When you first start, it's almost like a ride at the fair, because this machine swings. What makes a really good hoe operator? Enduring long hours and expectations of being as good on the 12th hour as you were on the first. I think probably hand-eye coordination is probably the biggest. It's actually an extension of your hand. It should be the extension of your hand. So whatever you see kind of thing, you should be able to put the bucket there wherever it's required. Hardest thing to do, there's many things, but line crossings, river crossings, like example in digging in water, you have to overdig a little bit and you have to gauge how much you're losing as you're digging. Creates a fairly good living, yeah. Fairly, it's never enough, but fairly decent. Yeah. I have a Harley and a nice pickup truck and a few quads and Sea-Doos and sleds, you know the story, toys. We kind of think we work hard, so we have to enjoy ourselves when we're not working. One of the worst things about this job is you're digging all day, you go home at night and you go to sleep, and you're still digging. You're dreaming of digging. You don't get paid for that time.
I've been around this type of work for about 40 years. From the east to the west coast now, this is definitely the roughest country I've ever seen. You're actually doing the hills twice, you know, and a lot of them is winching. It's a challenge.
It's a new truck. It's only got 20,000 kilometers on it. Fairly state-of-the-art for an off-highway truck. You keep it clean and well-maintained so it's not breaking down on you on the side of the road. You look after it. Piece of equipment does your work for you. Dale Bruce from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm a stringing truck driver. I haul pipe from a stockpile site somewhere in the world to a pipeline right away somewhere else in the world. Basically, we go a little bit slower than everybody else and pay a little more attention than everybody else. When we get off the highway, we got a radio that we call out kilometer numbers on the road we're on so that people know we're coming, and they're calling out so we know they're coming.
Turning in on Char Creek Road, headed off the highway. Kilometer 0, Char Creek.
Working on a few here now.
Empty pipe truck crossing the bridge at Char Creek. Headed up 32. As long as your truck makes the corner here on the bridge, your trailer pretty much makes it too. Yeah, I've seen bear, I've seen moose, I've seen deer, elk.
Yeah. Many girls?
Not very many out here, no. Oh yeah, this is way more fun than driving on the highway. No doubt about it. You can narrow road, picturesque valleys, views, roller coaster rides. Why wouldn't anybody like this? Can't imagine. Okay, I'm there.
The next activity is stringing. We load the pipes from specified stockpile sites onto trucks. They're loaded and transported to the right-of-way where the specialized equipment, side booms, which are peculiar to pipeline, begin their work. Behind stringing comes the engineer measuring crew. They measure every pipe length, and they actually shoot the terrain and come up with a profile to establish where to bend the pipe, and they mark out each pipe joint, where to begin the bend, end the bend, how many degrees, sag, overbend, side bend, and that is all put on the pipe for identification for the bending crew to come behind. Pipe bending machine is a specialized piece of equipment used only on pipeline. Side boom picks up each piece of pipe that has been designated for a bend, and they insert it into the bending machine, and that is bent to specification, then restrung on the pipeline right away, ready for the setup crew. Each individual piece of pipe has got a code, a barcode, as well as a written code on the pipe identifying the pipe number, the heat number, the length, the Shaw coating specification, and the wall thickness. We have various thicknesses of pipe and coatings. The coating thickness changes are for difficult road bores or rock hills. The thickness of pipe changes are for populated areas and or, again, difficult mountainous terrain. If for some reason there was ever an integrity problem, we could actually pull up our records and identify to the centimeter where that piece of pipe is in the ground. Each meter of pipeline is identified, every bend, where it is placed in the ground. If you wanted me to dig up any portion of this 310-kilometer pipeline, we could come within a centimeter of where you would want me to dig up, and I would bet you a case of beer on it.
Well, initially we established the limits of the pipeline right away, staking for the mainline contractor. We established center line of the excavation or the ditch, and we stake any appurtenances, swamp weights, river weights, test leads, anything that pertains to part of the pipeline. In the mountain conditions here, a lot of times GPS just does not work with the technology that we have right now, so we bring in control with GPS and then resort to total stations to pick up our electronic pipe data. Inside the total station is basically an onboard computer that calculates coordinate geometry, or COGO. And basically all the instrument does is sends out a laser beam, measures the amount of time elapsed between hitting the prism, coming back to the instrument, calculates a distance, and then using a COGO program internal to the machine, it'll calculate an azimuth, a difference in elevation, and a horizontal position. There's a certain amount of excitement when construction is going full-blown, and you've got to keep up with everybody and stay one step ahead of them.
2704820. Good. Good to go now.
Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's not. At the end of the job, when you got to compute all the data that you collected for the previous 6 months, that's all done with our computer department run by Mr. Pat Frericks.
Everything starts at the kickoff, which is the origin point. It's the starting point of the spread, and that's your 0 point for your chainage. And then the chainage is the distance measured from the origin. So we'll say at kilometer 10, it would be 10 plus 000. Everything's linked with chainage. Like the inspectors go out there, and if they put in sand padding or something, they'll see it begins at 11 plus 200 to 11 plus 500, and they'll put that on their reports, and then we can take the reports and put them into our as-built. We collect the pipe numbers and the heat numbers with a handheld data collector, and I'll hook that up to the computer and download it and run it through some software and get it into some kind of a spreadsheet. I have fun. Yeah, it gets pretty exciting. Like sometimes there's 8 different things to do, and you don't really know what to do next, but the day just flies. Like, I never watch the clock.
My name is Roy Stevens. I'm working as the resource monitor on the east spread of the BC Gas Southern Crossing Pipeline project. We are tracking the man days on the project to ascertain how many man days are involved in building the pipeline. We're also, more importantly, tracking the equipment hours, specifically the heavy equipment. There are in excess of 100 pieces of heavy equipment, which we classify as dozers and side booms, excavators. Most of it is owned by Marine Pipeline, although a percentage of it, perhaps 15%, is rental equipment. That is, some of it's owner-operated, some of it is just rented outright and operated by Marine personnel. They truck it in on lowboys and highboys. They bring it in from all across Canada and even from the States. I would say that this is probably the closest type of enterprise to a military operation that you'll see in civilian life. It's a linear project that entails a great deal of engineering and organization and precision to carry it out and construct the job within the time frames, within the environmental windows, and as close to budget as possible.
I'm Doug Dank, Project Superintendent here for Marine Pipeline.